stopping into another episode of the Neighborhood Kitchen. Well, you know, I got the green on, so that means it's that time of year again. Top of the morning to you, laddies. It's St. Patrick's Day. And you know, on St. Patrick's Day, we all like our drink, and we like the corned beef and the cabbage. But, you know, there's some irregular people out there that don't like the corned beef. So, today we have an alternative. That's right, me mama's own Irish stew. Yeah, that's right, Irish stew. You know, it's something you don't usually see too often on St. Paddy's Day, but it is an Irish staple. Typically, Irish stew is made with lamb. You can make it with beef, but we are going to use lamb today. But before we get the Neighborhood Kitchen kicked off, I got the perfect libation to go with today's show. A Guinness, that's right. Ireland's favorite import. So, sláinte. Oh, that's good. That is good. That's why everybody in Ireland's always smiling. Okay, so for today's Irish lamb stew, couple of ingredients. First, you got to start out with 3 pounds of lamb. Now, typically you can go to the butcher, have them give you some lamb stew meat. They didn't have any, so I had to get myself a couple of bone-in lamb chops and basically make it butcher it myself. Now, the reason I did that is because I also like to save the bones. There's some good meat and fat on these bones, so I'm going to brown them off before I brown my lamb off. Next, you're going to need a mirepoix. I got 1 cup each of carrot, celery, and onion. Okay, then you're going to need yourself about 2 pounds of potatoes. I'm using some Yukon Gold. You could use whatever kind of potatoes you want. The reason I cube these out and I just keep a damp rag on top of them so it doesn't oxidize. About 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, which I diced and which I minced and smashed. You're going to need a 1/4 cup of tomato paste. All right. You're also going to need some seasonings. Now I got some caraway seeds. Thyme, rosemary, a little black pepper, and a little bit of kosher salt, 1/2 teaspoon of each, and I just pulverized it a little bit, so that's going to be my seasoning. Now, you're going to build layers when you make stew. You're going to build layers of flavor, so don't go overboard right away with the salt and pepper, because you're going to season your ingredients as you go. It's going to build a foundation. Right at the end, you're going to adjust your seasonings. So if you taste it and you go, I think it needs a little more salt, add more salt. If you think it needs a little bit more pepper, add more pepper. So we got 4 cups of beef broth, a little bit of olive oil. The magic ingredient is you're going to need about 1 cup of Guinness. And before we get started, I got some seasoned flour here. Now, what you want to do is you want to get a nice sized Dutch oven or a heavy bottom pot. I'm using my nice cast iron Dutch oven. We're going to start making the stew in the cast iron Dutch oven, and then we're going to pop this thing into the oven. So preset your oven to 350 degrees. Okay, now like I said, first what we're going to do is we're going to start off with some seasoned flour. So I just got some regular AP flour that I'm going to hit with a little kosher salt. Okay. I know what you're thinking. How is it Irish if he's using kosher salts? Okay, and well, you know, it's a melting pot. So black pepper, and you know, Ireland's favorite staple, a little essence. Okay, this is what we're going to season our lamb with. See, it's very important. You want to flour the lamb cubes. Okay, just lightly, just shake off the excess, and then you're going to start browning them off in the pot in batches. What that does is it's going to build a crust on the lamb. It's also going to help thicken up our stew. Little pro tip there for you. So just lightly, it's just some seasoned flour, just to give it some flavor. Okay, and then we're going to, like I said, dredge our lamb, brown that off, and then we're going to start building our Irish stew. So hold on to your shamrock, kids. It's going to be a fun one. Okay, so we're working in batches here. First, I'm going to brown off my lamb bones. So I got about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in the bottom of my pot. You could use any kind of neutral oil you want. You could use some vegetable oil, canola oil, whatever you want. So just going to brown off these lamb bones. There's some good fat on them. There's some good flavor in there. It's going to really give the stew a nice hearty taste, and why waste it? I mean, this stuff's expensive, right? So once we brown these off, then we're going to start browning off our lamb cubes. Okay, so if you could smell this already, it's smelling great. And now I got the bones all browned off. Now I'm just browning up my seasoned lamb. You got to work in batches, very important. You don't want to overcrowd the pan. Now what you want to do is once you put it in, leave it alone. Don't mess with it. You want to build a crust on all sides, okay? See, like that, just like that, beautiful. And like I said, working in batches, we're going to brown all of these off, and then we'll do our vegetables and start building our Irish stew, which is going to be lights out. I mean, it's already smelling fantastic, and all I did was just do the lamb. Okay, so my lamb's all browned off. I even had to break out my trusty cast iron to help it speed along. Now I'm going to saute my vegetables, so that's going to go down in the bottom of the pot, and it's going to mix in with all the nice gramines from the browned lamb. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to give this a little stir. All right. And now once we get this, what we want to do is want to season this just real quick with some salt and pepper. Just like I said, the whole thing about these one-pot dishes like stews and casseroles and things is you're building layers. You're building layers of flavor. So just real simple, some salt and pepper, because I want to sweat these vegetables out. Okay, and after the onions get nice and translucent, so it's picking up all these gramines, that's all flavor right there. Okay. Oh yeah. Once these onions get translucent, we'll add the garlic. All right. So I'm going to also scrape the bottom a little bit. All right. So my vegetables are sweating down. You notice they reduced a little bit by volume. Now is a good time to do. I want to add my seasonings because what I wanted to do is toast, okay? And then I'm going to add my garlic, all right? I'm going to kick that around in here. Just get that all nice and incorporated. Oh, you should smell it. When those caraway seeds start releasing their oils, whoo, Lord have mercy. Oh, my God. I don't know if they cook this good in Ireland, but let me tell you, this is some powerful Irish stew. I used to make a big pot of this on St. Paddy's Day, along with the corned beef and cabbage, down at the Irish bar that we had. Only Guinea in the world to have an Irish bar. Okay. All right. Wow. So we're going to let this cook down a little bit longer, and then we're going to add our tomatoes. It's just smelling just perfect right now. Just perfect. Now we're just going to add our tomato paste. Now, I don't know if you're traditionally supposed to add tomato paste to an Irish stew. I mean, anytime I make regular stew, which kind of the same way here, I always add the tomato paste because it gives it some body and a little bit of richness. And, I mean, I would imagine they have tomatoes in Ireland, right? And, you know, I mean, if they don't, well, maybe this is some fusion cooking right here. So you want to get your tomato paste worked in with your vegetables, okay? Just want to get that all incorporated nice. And then we're going to deglaze this whole thing with some Guinness. Bit of the Guinness. Oh, man, you could spread this on toast right now and it would be delightful. Oh, yeah. This is going to be something. Okay, so as you can see, the tomato paste is all worked in nice. Okay. Now we add our liquids. So I'm going to start with 1 cup of Guinness. I'm going to deglaze with the Guinness, okay? And you want to get this all stirred in nice, okay? Oh, wow. Wow. You know, a good stout beer, because it's very hoppy, when you start incorporating it into gravies and stews and things like this, it just gets this magical aroma. Look at this nice mahogany color we got. Oh, wow. It's like Irish marinara. Okay, so now we got our Guinness. Now we're going to add 4 cups of low sodium beef stock. Okay. So that's this whole container basically. Now this is going to cook down in the oven. Like I said, it's good. The starch in the potatoes and the flour on the lamb is going to thicken this up. And if you're going to store this in the refrigerator overnight, if you're making it the day before, this is really going to thicken up. You're going to probably have to loosen it up with a little more Guinness. Not that anyone's ever complained about that. So I'm going to add just a little bit more salt to this. Okay. And a little bit more pepper. All right, now we got our Guinness beef stock. Now we're going to add our potatoes, okay? And after that, the meat's going to go back in. We're going to let this come to a simmer. Then we're going to shut it up with a lid, and then we're going to put it in the oven for about 2 hours. So we put our potatoes in. And like I said, the starch in the potatoes is really going to tighten this up too. Okay, so give this a little stir. All right. And now we start adding back our lamb. Okay? So everybody into the pool. Like I said, we just browned the lamb, and I'm adding the bones back in because the bones are going to give it some good flavor. There's some nice collagen in there with the marrow and stuff that's still in these bones. So it's going to really give this stew a nice depth of flavor. So we're going to add all this stuff back in and then pop it in the oven. Okay, so as you can see, it's simmering away. Just going to give it a little stir. Oh, man, if you could smell this. I gave it a taste, too, and it seems like it's seasoned pretty perfectly. So now we're just going to lid it and pop it in the oven for about 2 hours at 350. You can do this on the stovetop. It's going to take a little bit longer, probably about almost 3 hours, and you got to keep stirring it. The reason I like to do stews and pot roasts in the oven is you have even cooking. You're not having direct heat at the bottom, so you don't have to worry about burning the bottom of your stew, and you're going to have even indirect cooking all around the pot, and it's going to just make the stew that much more tender and unctuous. So, in the oven she goes, and 2 hours from now, we're going to have ourselves some kick-ass Irish stew. Okay, so it's been about 2 hours. We just took our stew out of the oven. Look at this thing. I mean, this looks gorgeous. Look how unctuous and everything. And like I said, that those bones that I put in there, the meat just fell right off of it. I mean, you may have to skim this a little bit because lamb can be a little fatty. And like I said, if you let this sit overnight, it'll thicken up. But while we got this out, let's plate it up and give it a taste. Well, got my Irish stew. Take a look at this. Huh? Garnished it with a little bit of chives. I got a nice cold Guinness here. I mean, it is Irish stew. So let's dig in and try this out. I've been dying to taste this. Okay. Got a little bit of everything on here. Oh my God. You know what? I love corned beef and cabbage, but this is a good alternative if you want to go down a different road. I mean, like I said, you can make this with beef, but the lamb I think just makes it more unctuous. The macros in this are fantastic. Potatoes in moderation are an excellent carb. A lot of good nutrients. You got some good vegetables in here. I mean, the broth is just unbelievable. You really get that punch, that stout from the Guinness and that little hint of the caraway seeds. I mean, this is just lights out. Let me tell you, from my neighborhood to yours, from my kitchen to yours, get out there and eat something. And happy St. Paddy's Day. Sláinte.